Alright, tonight's homework is 9.4 partial products. To find partial products, we take a multiplication problem, we split it into two smaller problems. So on number 1, we're doing 4 times 14, and you see we've got 4 rows with 14 in each one. But we've split it into 4 times 10, which is 40, so the blue part is 40, and then 4 rows of 4, which is 16. And then we add it up to find out the total. So we've got 40 plus 16 would equal 56. On number 2, we're trying to solve 3 times 12. We have 3 rows that have 12 squares in each one, but we can break it apart by coloring in 10 of them blue here. So we've got 3 rows of 10, which equals 30. And then 3 rows of 2, 3 times 2 equals 6. And if we add the 30 plus the 6 together, that is 36. So 3 times 12 is 36. Now we have 23 times 6. So we can break that apart into 20 times 6 and 3 times 6. Because 23 is 20 and 3. So 20 times 6 and 3 times 6. We multiply that, we get 0, and 6 times 2 is 12. And then 3 times 6, 6, 12, 18. And if we add 120 plus 18 together, I'll just add it right here, we will get 138. 18 times 9, I can take the 10 here from the 18 and say 10 times 9. And then we also have 8 times 9. So I broke 18 into 10 and 8. Now 10 times 9, that's a pretty easy one, 90. And 8 times 9, we can use our 9's trick, finger number 8. So we have 72. And if we add 90 plus 72, we get 162. So our answer will be 162. Now we're going to take 32 times 4. And of course you could use repeated addition and just add 32 4 times. Using partial products though, we would do 30 times 4 and then 2 times 4. We broke 32 into 30 and 2. 30 times 4 would be 120, and 2 times 4 is 8. So 120 plus 8 is 128. And 75 times 3, we break 75 into 70 times 3, and then 5 times 3. And when we multiply that, we get 0, and then 21, and 5 times 3 is 15. We add those back together, and we'll get 225. Number 7. If a cow eats 43 pounds of feed in 1 week, how many pounds do 7 cows eat? So that means we have 7 groups of 43, or 43 times 7, and we can break that apart to 40 times 7 and 3 times 7, and 40 times 7 would be 28, and 3 times 7 would be 21. So if we add that together, get 301. So 301 pounds of feed. Number 8, there are 3 female hogs and 5 male hogs. How many pounds of feed do they eat altogether? And I have to look up here for each hog. They eat 37 pounds of feed. And we have 3 females and 5 males. So altogether, 3 and 5, that means we have 8 hogs, and they're each eating 37 pounds of feed. So that's 37 times 8. If we break that apart, we would do 30 times 8, and then 7 times 8. And when we multiply 30 times 8, we get 0 and 24. So 240, and 7 times 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40, 48, and 56. So we have 56, and we can add that together, and we get our final answer of 296. On number 9, how many more, that's comparing words, how many more pounds of feed do 5 steer eat than 5 cows? So I've actually got to figure out how much 5 steer eat, how much 5 cows eat, and then compare those two numbers. So for steers, each one eats 51 pounds of food, so that's 51 times 5. So that's 51 times 5 is the same thing as 50 times 5 plus another 1 times 5. And 50 times 5, 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 5 is 25. And then 1 times 5 is 5, so 250 plus 5 would be 255. There's our number for the steers. But then the cows, we've got 5 of those, and each one eats 43 pounds. So that's 43 times 5. So I can break it apart. 40 times 5 and 3 times 5. 40 times 5, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20, and 3 times 5 is 15. So if I add 200 plus 15, I get 215. Now this is actually a 3-step problem, because now I figured out steer, I figured out cows, and I want to know how much more is this number than this number. So to do that, I have to then do 255, I'm running out of room here, minus 215. Look, really should have given us more room. 5 minus 5 is 0, 5 minus 1 is 4. So the final answer to this is 40, because 255 is 40 more than 215. Okay, on the back, number 10 says the soccer league has 28 teams. Each team has 9 players. How many players are there in all? So 28 teams, and each one has 9. So that's 28 groups of 9. And I can solve that. I can break apart the 28 into 20 teams with 9 on each one, and then the other 8 teams with 9 players on each one. And then I can put it all back together. 9 times 0 is 0, 9 times 2 is 18, and 8 times 9, I'm going to use my little nines trick here, finger number 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I get 72. So now I'm going to add that together, 180 plus 72, and I get 2. 8 plus 7 is 15, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So 252, and that's answer choice D. On number 11, an apple orchard has 8 rows of trees. Each row has 34 trees. How many trees are in the orchard? So that means we have 8 groups of 34. We can write that 34 times 8. And we can break the 34 apart into 30 times 8 and 4 times 8. So 30 times 8, 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 3 8, 16, 24. And then 4 times 8, 8, 16, 24, 32. We get 32. And then I'll add the 2 together. 2, 7, and then 2. So 272 is my answer. There it is, answer choice A. On number 12, on a school trip there are 4 buses of students. Each bus holds 58 students. How many students go on the field trip? Of course, we could just add 58 and then another 58 for the next bus and another 58 plus another 58. I'm going to use the partial product strategy, and I'm going to take 4 groups of 58, so 58 times 4. I'm going to break it apart, 50 times 4, and then I'm going to do the 8 times 4, and then we'll add it back together. 4 times 0 is 0, 4 times 5 is 20, and then 8 times 4, 8, 16, 24, 32. So I've got 200 plus 32, which of course would be 232. There it is, answer choice D. And number 13. A train travels 47 miles between 2 cities. If the train makes 4 trips in one day, how many miles does it travel? So we're making 4 groups of 47. So we can do 47 times 4. If we use partial products, we break that apart and do 40 times 4 and 7 times 4. When we multiply that, we get 0 and 16, and then 7 times 4 is 28. When we add that together, 6 times 2 is 8, and 1, we get 188. Answer choice C. Now, if you're Miss Gaston or Miss Pickett, that's where we stopped. Miss Kennedy's classes did 14 and 15. So on 14, Luz makes an array of 6 rows of 27 cubes. So that's 27 times 6. If he has 9 cubes left over, how many did he have to start with? So these are extra that we're going to have to add at the end. So 27 times 6, I'm going to do 20 times 6, and then I'm going to do 7 times 6. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 6, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. And then when I add that together, we get 162. Oh, wait. We got to add those extra 9 cubes, though. Almost forgot. 9, 10, 11, 6, 7, and 1 more. So there's our final answer, A, 171. And then on 15, there are 8 trays of sandwiches at a picnic. Each tray holds 22 sandwiches. If 12 sandwiches are left over, how many sandwiches were eaten? So that means we have 8 groups of 22 to start with. So we're going to do 22 times 8. I'm going to break that into 20 times 8 and then 2 times 8. So we get 0 and 16, and then 2 times 8 is 16. We add that together. 6 times plus 1 is 7, and then 1. We get 176, but 12 are left over and we want to know how many were eaten. That means we've got to take away 12 to see how many were eaten. 6 minus 2 is 4, 7 minus 1 is 6, and 1 minus nothing is 1. 164.